And we are live. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Another Brilliant Ideas show with your host, me, Mary Barnett. They also call me Mobile Mary. And I'm so excited for today's show because I have a good friend of mine on the show. Julie is absolutely brilliant. And we're going to be talking about what is it? Where is the title? Where is the title? How to use a joyful formula to overcome overwhelm. And I'm all about that, right? I actually wrote a little book on it. She and I are so aligned. We both talk about joy. Right there. There's joy right there. But a little housekeeping, if you haven't heard or been your stream wasn't blown up in March when I launched this faith-based journal, I'm still offering it as an amazing tool if you are feeling overwhelmed. If you are a Martha, if you know the story of Mary and Martha in the Bible, Martha was the one who was doing all the work in the kitchen. And typically, and this, my husband actually pointed this out, he says, typically, probably in the days of yore, Mary and Martha were both always in the kitchen, preparing and cooking and all the things that women did back then. But at this one time, they were having a little party and their best friend was coming for lunch. And instead of going back and helping Martha in the kitchen like she always did, Mary chose to sit at the feet of their best friend, and whose name was Jesus, to take it all in, to rest and relax and enjoy the fellowship, the time together. And Martha kind of got a little bitter about that. She was a bitter Betty. And she said to Jesus, hey man, tell Mary to get her butt back in the kitchen. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And he said, no, actually, Mary picked the better thing. She chose to rest and relax. And that's what he wants for us. So I wrote this journal actually to help women who are feeling like they are a Martha. And in my case, I'm actually named Mary. And so, yeah, so I want to be more like a Mary, like my namesake, but I am a Martha. So this is like a faith-based journal that you can it takes you through step by step, 31 days to transform you from overwhelmed to overjoyed. And so when my friend Julie actually said that she'd be interested in being on my show, which I'm so blessed that she did, it was such a perfect alignment because that's what she does. She uses her experience to help women use the word joyful as her formula to help women get over that overwhelm and help them succeed in business. So we're going to talk more about that in the show today. So again, you know about my book, you know about the show. I'm going to introduce you to my friend Julie. Oh, and if you're interested in being a part of a fun community, I actually run something called the Marketing Innovators Playground, which is just a Facebook group that people share ideas of innovation. If you're in marketing and want to find more joy and playfulness in your marketing, I would like to encourage you to join that as well. And I'll put all the links in the show notes. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend Julie because she is a busy girl and I want to make sure we get all the goodness in. She runs a company called Spirited Soul Coaching. And Julie, I'm going to butcher her last name, Kraschinsky. She's going to hopefully correct me when she comes on screen. She has spent close to 30 years developing techniques and tools that connect her with her soul's path to pursue a heart-centered approach to coaching entrepreneurs through a prosperous business journey. Most of her clients are not new to the business world, but they are new to owning their own business and understand what it means to be the CEO. And after a long career as a leader in direct sales, in 2021, Julie took the leap of faith, gave up her team and her free car. It might have been pink. I'm not sure. She can confirm that with us. And she retired from that business. She developed her Joyful CEO Life community where she teaches the principles that she uses to step into a life and a business that you can truly love with joy and ease. I love that. So without further ado, let's bring on Julie. Yay!
Hi.
Hi. Okay, tell me how to pronounce your last name. I should have confirmed
Hi. I'm going to change it. That's so funny. I've had so many different versions of it. So Kraschinsky. So
it. Kraschinsky, like you're crashing into somebody. Kraschinsky.
Ski.
Actually, I think you could make that into something with your brand because you talk about stepping into ease and grace, but when you're at a place where you're about to do the Kraschinsky,
Ski.
you need to pull back and find joy and not crash into your problems, but learn to solve them with ease and grace.
I love that.
Sorry,
Changing
marketing.
the name. It's
Yeah,
okay. Smith.
yeah.
Julie Smith.
This is the Another Brilliant Idea show, so I have to come up with another brilliant idea for you.
You have great ideas. I'm going to
I
take you
love
up in that offer.
it.
Yeah.
Well, something I didn't mention, I apologize. I didn't read the whole bio. You're also the managing director of an eWomen in Calabasas. Tell me a little bit about that organization because you asked me to speak for it, and they're a lovely group of women. I just had so much fun.
Yeah. So I always say, I love connecting people and I love community. I've always been that way. I've always had a lot of friends and different facets of, you know, the football players, the non football players, the cheerleader, the whole thing. And
Oh, we're going back to high school. I love that. Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's always been me. I've always had a lot of friends and a lot of community. And because I just love building relationships that are solid. And so the e-woman out here in California, in the Calabasas area, Thousand Oaks, it was just the next logical thing for me to run the chapter. And I've been the managing director, now the executive, for 6 years. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of work. But you know what? You've created a community of women that really support each other and rising tide lifts all boats, right? And you really created that kind of community, which is awesome. So let's get right into your joyful formula because I think that it's so important that people understand that they can have a life and a business that's full of joy. So can we talk about that?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
designed this formula a number of years ago.
Okay.
Um, I guess I designed it before I actually named it and had like, the acronym joyful, like what can I, um, how can I formulate this so it's in the word of joy? Because that's what I teach, right? And I think
Right.
that's where we connected. You're like, joy, okay, joy. And I know you hear it a lot now. I even hear men saying that they'd like to have more ease and flow and joy in their business. And
Okay.
so coming from a direct sales, I was corporate America and then for like 12, 15 years corporate, I think. Stayed home with my kids and then started my direct sales business. It wasn't like linear that easy. I said no for 5 years.
Right.
Then um, I said yes, but really at the time I didn't really realize that I was starting a business. It was like direct sales, you're going to make extra money, you can earn a car, all that kind of stuff. But nobody
Right.
said you were the CEO of your business. And then I started building teams and realizing the struggles that women had because again they're not seeing themselves as the CEO of their organization, right?
Right, right. Not taking you're and you may what you mean by that is, like, taking ownership of it?
Like, yeah, you're the CEO, you get to schedule your time. That was a thing that really drew me in when my consultant told me, I'm like, can I take naps? And she's like, I don't care if you take a nap. I'm like, sign me up. I had two.
Right, it's not a job, it's a business. I
Yeah.
mean, you're no one's the boss of you, right?
Right, but I will tell you, fast forward almost 30 years, and I've been at the helm of the eWomen Calabasas Chapter too. The struggles are the same with the women entrepreneurs that come into our organization to network and build community as it was helping women start in direct sales. And
Really?
that's where I came up with the joyful formula because I saw the struggles of them not owning the fact that they were a CEO, and especially the women that are coming from, there's a lot of people, especially what was it, the great what was it called?
Resignation?
Great resignation, right?
Yes,
So everybody
yes.
wanted to start their own business. A lot
A
of those
pivot.
gone
Yeah,
back to working because it was easier for them to go to a job where they were told what to do versus,
right,
well, what should I do today? Oh, I got up. What do I do now? And nobody gave them the formula of how to build their business and how to stay in that flow and ease. And what happens is they end up working more hours, making less money because they're doing all the things. They can't afford to pay a social media manager, an assistant, all that. And I learned
wow.
way back in my career, my direct sales career. My kids were little. I would have them like stuff the product bags, put labels on my
Yeah,
catalog,
earn their keep, I love it.
bribe them with the dollar store. It worked. Um, if you're good and in this room, my mommy's holding an appointment, we'll go to the dollar store with the money that she makes tomorrow. Um,
Right,
so I found all these little nuances that helped bring ease and flow. And even earning my first car as a consultant, it was not pink. The consultant car is not pink. Um, I earned it by using this formula, and I didn't
wow,
realize I had this formula. Uh,
right.
So
That kind of naturally developed. So is it like per letter? So what is J?
So J is really jump starting the vision for your life and your business. So this is where you create the vision of what you desire, not focusing
Okay.
on what is not happening in your life and what is not, you don't have. And so earning that first car was me visualizing myself in the car. And before it
Oh,
even, yeah. So to this day, it was a candy apple red Grand Am. That was the car that they gave consultants in my company. And I still remember it. I could visualize it sitting in my driveway, but not the actual car. It was the vision of that car because that was so clear to me that I would see it in my driveway before it actually appeared. And of course,
ooh.
but I'll get into the action stuff. Yeah, so you start with your vision, and
Okay.
you know, um, the universe only knows how to give you something when it has a clear direction, right?
Right.
So you have to be clear when you're wishy washy and you can't decide. Um, I was stuck in that area for a long time, up until a number of years ago, where I would ask
Oh,
everybody's opinion. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do this? What about this? And you ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers, right?
right.
And so I just jumped into the O, which is own your brilliance. Like, know that you have unique gifts that were only given to you, nobody
Okay.
else has them.
Right.
And then act as if what you desire is already here. Own it. And especially being an e-women, there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of realtors, there's a lot of, social media manager, whatever, marketing
Right.
specialists, right? How do you separate yourself in that sea of sameness? It's just being you. That's all you really need to do. There's no
I love it.
formula, right?
Right. And it is sometimes hard for people to own their brilliant. Even myself, my company is called Another Brilliant Idea. And
Another,
I I still sometimes doubt what I can do. And I've been in business for 35 years. Like
yes,
I know my shiz,
yes,
but I get that imposter syndrome and think, oh, I'm not as good as them or her or him or that, or it's crazy. Like how do you coach people to understand how to own their brilliance?
yeah, that's the fun part, right? And the certain tools that I use,
Okay.
but also just having them tap into their inner guidance system, which for me it's God. You also have
Love
the
that.
intuition is that voice, that little voice that you hear.
Yeah, I call that the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
spirit speaking to you, right?
Right.
Um, and I call it my GPS, but it's my
Nice.
genius power system. And so
Ooh.
it knows because every time I've sat with it and I've asked, what should I do? And I get that, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. That's a sign. You might
Right.
know the how, right? You might not know the how. So the next letter is the Y,
Okay.
enjoy. It's saying yes to yourself and saying yes to when those opportunities present themselves without knowing the how.
I love that. I'm trying to write these down so people can see them because a lot of people watch these in the replay, right? So I
Yeah.
want to make sure that people understand and follow along. So yes, so the why is for yes, saying yes to yourself, and you said the opportunity.
Yeah. Saying
That's
yes
so great. Like, right, because I believe that God opens doors, but it's our choice
to
and
walk
our
away.
duty to walk through those doors. Right.
Yeah.
So if we don't take action and we just sit on the couch, nothing's going to happen, even if he has these amazing opportunities for us. So I love that. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. So, and also the part of saying yes is to yourself, right? Scheduling. So I'll give you a little secret that I share with my paying clients. Shh,
Ooh. Shh.
everybody's
Don't
learning
tell anybody, anybody. Don't tell.
it. I don't know. Is we schedule in joy breaks throughout their day. And it's
Ooh.
scheduling time in your calendar. So this is highly suggested when you work with me is that you look at your schedule and you go, okay, when can I take a joy break? And it could be like every time I stand when my watch, the good thing about having a watch that alerts you is like you stand. So you
Right.
just dance, put music on and dance around your office for a minute. You could drink water. For me, when I'm taking larger joy breaks throughout my day, is going to the a walk in nature. I have a beautiful park right down the street with hiking trails and all that. And so I make that part of my daily routine is
I
take
love it.
breaks. Some days I need 3 of them, and they can be short, 10 minutes down and back,
I
but
love it.
I'm on a joy break, baby. I'm going. So,
That's so great because you're right. When this thing said, sometimes I'm so in the zone that I'll be typing and it'll say time to stand. I'll literally, and this is bad. I'm admitting this. I put my arm up.
oh boy, that is cheating, Mary.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I even have a standing desk. And
Cheating.
s-
Oh,
and so I could hit stand and go like this, right? Did I do that? No, I put my arm up in the air. That is so bad. Okay, I will
up
think of
until now.
you
Up
and
until now.
schedule a joy break.
Yes.
Thank you.
Until now.
Okay,
Okay, so the F. Are you ready for this one now?
I'm ready.
This segues right into after the joy break is F is to fall in love with your schedule, right?
Ooh,
CEO of your life, this pertains to people's lives, even if you're not working, if you're retired, you still want to be the CEO of your life in your household, right? And so we want to set boundaries. We want to leave space in your day to be present um, because we don't allow space to receive those creative ideas, which are given to us. So I heard this recently and I reminded myself and I reminded my clients where when you're out, say, walking in nature, and I get my best ideas there. Some people get them in the shower. I haven't been getting
right.
them in the shower lately. I get them mostly on my walks when I'm
Right.
in nature and when I'm quiet or during meditation. So
Mhm.
meditation for me is tricky because I'm usually like, oh, I just got an idea. And I write it down.
That's true. You have to keep a pad of paper next to you.
I always, yeah. So what happens is when you're given an idea, like we have an imagination, we're the only living thing on the earth that is given an imagination, right? And
Right.
the child used it all the time.
Yeah, right.
So as we go into adulthood and beyond and business owner and all that, our imagination is not something that we think of. We get ideas or whatever, but we're like, tap into that imagination, right? And so, in order to do that, you need to create space and quiet time. So, when you're quiet, you allow ideas to drop in. And when you get those ideas, they're given uniquely to you. If you don't say yes to them immediately, those ideas are then given to somebody else because it's
Ooh,
looking for a vessel to drop itself into, to be the
right.
messenger of this message. And if you're not open to it, how many times have you thought of an idea and then you see somebody else doing it
Right.
because you didn't act?
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're so right. I always think of it as a collective conscious,
Yeah.
but you're right. It's true. My husband always invents things, and then like a week later, he's like, "Look, this is already out," and I'm like, "Because we have to take action on those." That is a very good point. I love that.
Yeah. So falling in
Wow.
love with your schedule is removing, like, I don't say, you said it earlier that I was the dirty 4 letter B word. I don't use that word anymore. I'll spell it
Okay.
Busy.
Oh, it is a dirty four-letter word. I love that.
So Sandra Yancey, our CEO founder of eWomen, right? She had shared with us that I think it was either Mark Cuban or Jeff Bezos. Somebody said that that B word was the new stupid. And
Yeah.
when people use it, it's just an excuse that you're not organized or, whatever it is. And I always say it's like that hair on fire thing. People come blowing into the room like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And I'm like, thinking like you're wearing that badge of honor, like, oh, I'm so important. You're
Right.
disorganized. You haven't left space in between your appointments. You're
Right.
in your schedule, right?
Yeah. Right.
Which then
That
gives you overwhelm and burnout. And, you don't have clarity anymore.
I love that. Very good insight. I love that. Okay, so we're at F. So what is
You.
you?
Now, once you have taken your joy breaks and you're feeling good, I always say feel good, intentional action. So the you is unapologetically take bold, inspired action and but it's joyful, inspired action.
Right.
So you want to do something that brings you joy before you pick up that phone that weighs a ton. Um,
Right.
a big thing. People like, I know I need to reach out to people. I procrastinate. I don't do it, or taking that action that you're not sure what the next step is, so you don't do anything, right?
Right.
I always think of like um, imperfect action is better than perfect procrastination, right?
Amen. And you said it's unapologetically take joyful action,
Take joyful, inspired action.
inspired action. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Okay.
So do something that brings you joy before you do the thing that has been hard for you to do, because you then have that energetic movement of joyful energy and anticipation instead of dread and like, ugh.
Okay. So you're saying do the things in your day that bring you joy first. So that'll fill you up with joy. So you can do the things that maybe there's more of an obligation,
Or do
maybe.
something that's joyful right before, like play some music for a few minutes, play some upbeat music and dance around, move energy, and then just set your intention by saying, oh my gosh, who needs to hear from me today? Who needs
Ooh.
to be uplifted today before you go out and reach out? Because when you're in sales and you're a business owner, you're always in sales, right? I was on with a group of direct sellers last night, and they're training, sharing this with them.
Oh,
A lot of them were saying, I procrastinate. I feel like I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to bother the people. And I used to do this too. I would think like, oh, they told me to call them after work because they worked all day. And I would then go, oh, it's dinner time. I don't want to call them. It's dinner time. They're probably making dinner. And then I'm like, I'll call them after dinner. I'm like, oh, I don't want to call them after dinner because they're probably getting the kids in the bath and making lunches for tomorrow and getting ready for their day. And then, oh, it's like 7 or 8 o'clock. They're probably watching TV with their husband. So I'll call them tomorrow. So that doesn't
right.
work,
And
instead of,
they even gave you permission to call them. I
yeah,
totally get it. Yeah. We always overthink it, right?
but we also create stories. So that's another thing. Like, what story are you telling
Mm,
yourself that you can drop that doesn't serve you or the other person that you're going to reach out to? Because maybe they're looking for a break. Maybe they're looking for a ray of sunshine to be calling them. That has nothing to do with their work or their kids or,
I
right?
love that. Yes, you're right. And it's true. We believe the stories that we tell ourselves, but we can change that narrative. When my kids were little,
Yeah.
I remember like said would come home from school and say, well, so and so doesn't like me anymore. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, she gave me a weird look. And I'm like, well, maybe she had to go to the bathroom. Like, you can't
Yeah.
tell her maybe that day her grandma died and
You
she had a little weird look on her face because she was sad or she got in high school, I'd be like, maybe she dropped her phone in the toilet or you got in trouble with her mom. Like, it doesn't have to be about you.
Right.
You're telling a story, you're making yourself believe it. So you can make up a story like, oh, she had gas and tomorrow she's going to feel better, or I'm going to bring her a coffee and make her smile and then everything will be great. You know,
Yeah.
I said, so you don't, I agree. So I 100% agree. And it works as long as we can make up any story at all, like even if it's completely crazy, because it brings us joy, right? It could be silly and Zach, right?
Whatever it is. Yeah. Just take a joyful break, a joy break right before you do the thing that has been hard for you to do, and it will make it easier.
I
You just
love
want to
that.
move energy. You want to move energy and you want it to be good energy. So, like, saying those affirmations, people go, oh, yeah, I say affirmations all the time, whatever. And for the majority of people, they don't actually work because they really don't believe them.
Oh,
And
right,
it's the feeling that you put behind whatever you're saying, um, you know, it is the secret. The feeling is the secret. It's not the actual thing that you're doing.
right,
People feel like they need to work harder in order to make things happen. You can grind and be successful, but it's not sustainable and it's
right.
bring you joy. It
Yeah,
brings burn.
you'll get burnout. Right, exactly. Okay, so we just did you, so what is L?
L is live your life. Enjoy. This is your life. Just live it the way that you were created and designed to live it. And don't compare yourself to everybody. I mean, it was interesting as I'm working through this, and when I work with clients, it helps solidify every day my formula into my own life, right? And remind
Right.
myself. And somebody just said to me, like, well, are you a business coach? I'm like, do you have a business? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, or are you a life coach? I'm like, are you live?
You have a life? Yeah,
Yeah. So if I'm a business life coach, whatever you want to call me, I don't really care anymore what people call me. It's
right.
my
Just
time.
not late for dinner, as my dad would say.
Well, what do you say?
Sorry. He'd say, "I don't care what you call me, just don't call me late for dinner."
Oh, yeah. How funny. Yeah,
Sorry, that just popped out of my brain. Sorry.
brilliant ideas. No, because that's what people get caught up on, like the niche and this and that. And I find when we go through this joyful formula with my clients, we spend a lot of time in the J, which is jumpstarting your vision. Because in your vision, we break down all different areas of your life. And what happens if you skip over an area, like, oh, I don't want to talk about my relationships, they're fine, and then you get into it more and more and you find out they're not fine, right? Then that is what's holding you back from having success and ease and flow in the other areas. So we address that, but I don't like go like we got to remove those blocks. Like I'm not one of those people. It's like leave the past in the past because it no longer exists and let's
Right.
create a new future based on how you are today and your present, right? So,
I Yeah, that's so fascinating, and this basically comes down to the building blocks of how to build a successful business with ease, calm, and flow,
yeah,
which is your mojo. Like that's what you help people do.
that's right.
Um, wow, Julie, seriously, this has been so insightful. I love that you focus on joy and that you on here. It's got a spam risk on my phone. Turn that off.
Oh,
We're talking how we always get little interruptions, right? So maybe we can need to reframe those interruptions as a little reminder. We get a spam call, I'm just making this up. Then we get a spam risk call that it's a moment to find something you're grateful for,
yeah,
right? Or something you find joy in, like the fact that someone even thought to call me. I bet that person just wanted to wish me well.
they probably did. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly. I love it. Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you, I'm looking for your thing. Oh, you have it here, Julie. They can go to spirited coach, Mary, spiritedsoulcoaching.com.
uh-huh.
Or how would you, what social, because I'll put all your links in the thing, but what do you like best? What's your favorite social?
Yeah, well, I'm on all social media platforms. However, I have a group, a Joyful Business, Joyful Life group.
Oh,
Um, yes, that I do little trainings and things like that. So they can ask to join. It's called Joyful Business, Joyful Life. You just look for it and answer 3 questions. Who invited you? Your email, just in case we lose Facebook. And then what's one thing that you'd like to have more joy in your life? And that is it. I know, Mary, you
perfect.
invited some people in
Yes.
to the group as
Yes.
well.
In fact, you rewarded me with a beautiful candle.
I did. You were my winner when I launched it a year
That
ago.
was so sweet. I know we sat next to each other planning our groups. And we were in a mastermind together, everyone, if you didn't know. We're super cool. We're in a mastermind. But you also
Yeah.
gave me a beautiful candle from the same company that from when I spoke at your organization. And I have a thank you note that I wrote and then I went to Italy. So,
It's okay.
it's sitting on my desk with not even a stamp on it. So
It's
thank
all
you
good.
for that as well. That was very sweet of you. Very, very joyful of you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right.
All right, Julie. Well, thank you so much. I know you have another appointment that you need to go to, but thank you for taking time out of your day to share with us your joyful formula, because everyone needs to know how to overcome overwhelm because, life is too short for that.
Mm,
And we need
yeah.
to live, as you said, choose the life that you want to live and choose to live in joy, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
So, again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Another Brilliant Ideas show. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm dating myself.
I know. It's okay.
Do you remember that show?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
For those of you who don't, we'll let you comment in that thing. If you get it this far in the show, let us know. Maybe I'll give a prize. Anybody who knows what that is from.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
All right, my love. Thank you again for your time. And stay on for a second because we have to take a quick picture for
Yeah.
promotion, which we didn't do before. And until then, everyone, thank you so much and have a brilliant day and find joy in